Hello, this is Brother Benson Media. Today is a Sunday morning, and always Sunday we usually do our recap. Today I do have my co-host Makobura with one of our guests, Mr. Miguda. So we are going just to analyze the news, those that made headline during the week, and those that were trending. Makobura, how are you doing?
I'm okay. Good morning.
Good morning. How about Mr. Miguda?
I'm very much okay. How are you?
I'm good. As I said earlier, today is a Sunday. This is a viewpoint where we do talk about the news, those that made the headlines during the week. So we will start with the presidential speech that he made during the State of the Nation address in the both Senate and the Parliament. I mean the Parliament, both houses. So what is your take, Mr. Makobura?
Okay, fine. So the president had the address as expected of him, and it's unfortunate that he never really talked about the important issues that most Kenyans were expecting. Kenyans were expecting him to address the issue of high cost of living, the issue of high taxes, and to at least give the Kenyans hope that in the coming days, he would
Mhm,
try to stabilize and reduce the cost of living together with the tax.
mhm,
Most Kenyans were expecting that he address issues concerning their daily lives, and they never saw that. So, majority of people from their from what they saw, they were really disappointed.
mhm.
Yes.
What about you, Mr. Miguda?
Okay. The presidential State of the Nation address, from my point of view, where I am as a citizen of the Republic of Kenya. First, the president, it is within the constitutional body of the Republic of Kenya that, as the president of the Republic of Kenya, he must address the nation annually, that is, yearly. The president must address the nation in parliament, and through that, because we expect him as the head of the state, we expect him to hear from him for how he has worked, what is it that he has not done, and what is it that we are expecting from him to do, because that is what we call accountability. He must be accountable as the president of the Republic of Kenya through that address. But unfortunately, the president did not. The speech did not go well with the citizens of the Republic of Kenya since right now there is high cost of living in the country and people are struggling to make ends meet. And again, the president disappointed the people because the president himself, I think, ought to have participated in the writing of the State of the Nation address. He ought to be there, not, the president came to parliament and only read whatever his advisors wrote to him. I would like to just state that even in the United States of America, during the reign of Barack Obama, he used to participate himself in the writing of the State of the Nation address. Again, you find that by him participating himself, he knows exactly what is happening and what is going on with the country and is giving the view according to the president. But now, Mr. Ruto, when he came to parliament, he only read the speech which was written to him, but the reception among the citizen was not well captured. I think now Mr. President got it wrong from me. He did capture exactly what is happening on the ground. And we still give him time. Again, it's next stage of the nation address, we are yearning to hear from him.
So
Yes.
let me just ask you, when you listen or you watch the State of the Nation address the president gave, some of it were usual stuff that usually has, like major talks that he usually does in his campaigns or when he's doing the national projects, and most of them they were characteristics, like they were full of lies. That's what, when you go to the social media, especially what Kenyans were writing. Do you think the president has really lost the touch with the people, or what is happening with him?
Okay. Okay, I think the president has not that he has lost touch with the people. The president lost touch with the people like 100 days after election because whatever he promised that he will deliver within the 100 days, he failed totally. In fact, the president has lost touch on the ground with the people for the first 100 days from the time he was elected into the office. There hasn't been any ray of hope. There hasn't been any sign of change because the more we wake up in the morning, the more the life got tougher. And for that reason, the president has really lost touch, and the alternative government in waiting opposition should also try and envisage the people's right to demonstrate so that we can see how we can put the government on toes that the president can work for us so that for us to feel the impact of our taxes because we can't be in the country whereby we are paying taxes. We are really struggling to pay taxes, but the president himself has not even shown any sign that is doing anything better. So I think, from my point of view, he has lost touch with the people on the ground, and he himself he knows that one. And he ought to have shown us for the first 100 days the way he promised. So the point is here is very clear that the president has been promising many things, and there is no fulfillment. That's what the problem is. If at all he could have even fulfill one thing, we could have believed in him. So far, we can't give him any credit.
Marco Bura, what's your take?
Uh, Again, on my take, the
Mm-hmm.
main reason why the president should be having this state of address
Mm-hmm.
is to allow him to give us the position of his government uh, and the measures that he's taking as a government to reduce, especially the high cost of living, and to make the lives of Kenyans uh, manageable. It's unfortunate because during this address, he used his similar tactics of telling us how he gave out the Hustler Fund, and that
Mm-hmm.
some people have started businesses using the Hustler Fund, and that they are prosperous in a way. Now you ask yourself, Hustler Fund they always give around 400, 500 Kenyan shillings. How will a Kenyan start a business with 500 shillings until he or she gets profit? Because from that address, if you keenly followed, he was saying that among the things that he introduced to the youth, like the hustler funds, he was saying that those things were really helping the people, and the people are getting out of poverty, and again, it helps solve the unemployment. This
Mm-hmm.
kind of statements are pure lies, and as a president, you should always focus on giving sharing truth to the
Mm-hmm.
citizens, because citizens are not we are not children. Like, you can't lie to the people that you govern every day. So on that, uh, my take is the president would have used this opportunity to outline the things that he was really intending to do to the people of Kenya to make their lives more better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And when even when you listen to Kenyans on social media, on even like when you listen, you see on the interview by journalists, like most of the Kenyans are saying like the president is not is not listening to them. But there's something that really happened. I think the opposition did not, because like I think like the opposition was supposed to address the nation by rebattling the presidential speech, which they did not do, as a way of giving that assurity to the Kenyan people that this is the way it should be done. Um, what is your take about that? Because they did not have press conference immediately to rebuttal what the government say by maybe saying that what the government say was not true. Yeah, and they did not call that press conference. What is your take on that?
Yes, usually the opposition always holds a counter state address
Hmm.
to try to demystify the lies of the ruling government.
Yeah,
This time round, that never really happened.
yeah.
And I think it never happened because they're trying to really respect the agreement that they had about the bipartisan. Remember when they were getting into the bipartisan, there were conditions, and among the conditions were they were supposed to try not to get into politics and too much opposition, so that it would give them a conducive environment to discuss the issues that they had presented before the bipartisan committee. So probably that's the reason why they never countered. But as from that day, we've seen Raila attending some meetings here and there, and they have tried to counter. And yesterday he was in Siaya, and again he went to Nyakacha, and I remember it was clear, together with these people,
Yeah.
that the president never really touched on issues that were affecting the people of Kenya.
Yeah, that's true. But like for you also to make Kenyans feel that you're with them, you can rebuttal the state. You can do it immediately when, so you can demystify all this that president is saying, But if you take too long, it it kind of like when you're now giving press, it does not have that weight as compared if you could have done it immediately. So I think there the opposition was supposed to do it immediately. Anyway, they might be having a way of doing it, but that's my take.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We lost Miguda. Miguda, you're back. We lost you. We were just saying that the opposition uh, did not have the press briefing to encounter the State of Union address by the president. What is your take on that? Hello, Miguda.
Unmute, unmute.
He's unmuted. We cannot. Miguda, maybe there's a problem with it. Okay. Now there's also some few development that is taking place in the Kenyan political space right now, because we saw during this week we saw CS Moses Kuria met the Azimio principal on different occasions. I don't know whether he met them on the same day, but we saw photos circulating on the social media. We had Moses Kuria meeting the Right Honorable Prime Minister. That was one. We saw a photo with him, Moses Kuria, the CS, with the Honorable Prime Minister. We saw one with Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, and later we saw one with ex-mungiki, Maina Njenga. What is your take on that? What is taking place?
I think my political analysis of that is this. Politics is a game, and they say even a simple day in politics can change the political dynamics, of a certain state or nation
Mhm,
or environment.
mhm,
For that reason, we've seen the CS of first lately has been trying to go against the government. Remember last time, especially the people who are close with the government,
mhm,
some of them the CS or the government appointees.
mhm,
Remember when the issue of Kawira Mwangaza started, he tweeted
mhm,
and he said that Kawira Mwangaza was really doing the right thing,
mhm,
and the people who are fighting her politically were among the CS and the government employees who feels that she's a woman, therefore she can't really be a governor of Meru County. After that, again, he tweeted that the Senate was not really going to do their work in the right way, that they were like a kangaroo house, that they were going to
mhm,
simply
mhm.
not look keenly on the issue.
Yeah.
So of late, he has been having his own issues, and is being seen as trying to go against the government directives. And again, him meeting the opposition leaders, that tells you something that politically there are so many things behind the scene,
Mm,
and we should expect much. Remember, he's also one of the people who are trying to fight to be the Mount Kenya king.
mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, Emma, how are you doing?
I can hear you now.
You can hear me.
Yeah,
We are just having a conversation on Moses Kuria, the CS, who for last week he met Azimio principals. He met
yeah.
Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, Honorable Kalonzo, and ex-mungiki Maina Njenga. So, what is your take, or what is your take on that political scene?
Uh, uh, in politics, nothing happens in coincidence. So, Moses Kuria, from his tweets, I usually follow his tweets.
Mm-hmm.
From his tweets, right now he's in friction with the second in command, that is Gashagwa.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he may be looking for a support base. That is why he's meeting the likes of Kalonzo, Raila, and maybe he's repositioning himself. Maybe he can join. He's having problems in the government, so he can join even Azimio. You never know.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what about you, Mr. Miguda? What is Moses Kuria doing by meeting all the principal of Azimio?
I think by Moses Kuria meeting the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, who is the chief opposition of the uh, unruling party, that is Azimio. Moses Kuria, me, I can just trace his friendship with Raila back in early 2000. Moses Kuria, when there was multi-party democracy campaigns, he used to be Raila's friend. Maybe most of people do not know this. They have a very long-term friendship in terms of politics. So Moses Kuria has been going to Raila's backyard. They have been meeting Raila for so long, and in fact, it's Raila who brought Moses Kuria from the United Kingdom to practice politics in Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
That one you must know. So these people have been allies. So, and also, if you look at Mount Kenya politics, I think there is that lack of kingship, kingpin, so to say so. I think there's lack of kingship. So people are looking for this position. So you find people like Moses Kuria, they are just realigning themselves. That what can I bring to you? If I come with divided Mount Kenya to Raila's camp for the 2027 preparation, with Gachagua at having other half. So it's just positioning themselves. Again, Raila and Moses Kuria are true friends, and they have one thing in common. That's why you can see the problem has come that when Moses Kuria is in Mount Kenya, he must realign himself with the wave of the politics of Mount Kenya. But outside that one, they are friends, and Raila can work with Moses Kuria come 2022. There's that possibility. So I think the main point here is that that lack of Kenya kingpin, the absence of Uhuru Kenyatta in Mount Kenya, people are seeing that as there's an opportunity
Mm-hmm.
because Gachagua, people have rated him. He's seen like someone who is tribalist. He's coming that the tribal card from Mount Kenya.
Uh-huh.
He tends
Mm-hmm.
to convince people that because you are coming from Mount Kenya, you have to get shares in the government. But Moses Kuria now is coming with another tone. He's convincing the people outside Mount Kenya that other than the tribal thing in Gachagua, me, I have that inclusivity for all Kenyans. I look it beyond Kikuyu. So, he's gaining popularity. By that one, he's also having some very sharp advisors around him who is advising him. But if you go with this tone of beyond tribalism, you can win most of the people in Mount Kenya, unlike this current deputy president, Gachagua. So, to me, to cut it short, it's a matter of they are looking for that opportunity which is vacant, Mount Kenya kingpin.
But now let me ask you.
Again,
Let me ask me good at something. When you look at the somebody who has insulted the Right Honorable Prime Minister for 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 the longest time, especially when it's Moses Kuria, and now he's coming back to Baba, or yeah, he's meeting Baba. Does when he's insulting Baba, does it mean that he wants favor from Mount Kenya because Baba is not lovable over there, or what? What usually happens now? He's meeting Baba.
Uh, The question you are asking is a very good one because, I remember Moses Kuria, truth to be said, by the time he's insulting Baba, he's playing the politics of psychophancy. And Baba knows it very well that by the time he's insulting Baba, he's getting favor with the Mount Kenyans. Those times when Raila used to be rival with Uhuru Kenyatta and Moi Kibaki. So it used to use Mount Kenya versus the Luo nation in Nyanza. So if you attack Raila, your high chances of being elected in Mount Kenya was very high. Unlike nowadays, and Moses Kura has also seen the dynamics in politics. It has now changed. You can't attack Raila 2027 and expect to be elected. For you to be elected or for you to get followers in Mount Kenya, you must look for allies outside because Mount Kenya has been convinced that the current deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, is obsessed with the issue of tribalism. And for you to win against Deputy Gachagua, you must use this, you must use, you must be against the tribal card for him. So by the time Moses Kura used to insult Baba, it was for his own gain, for him to be elected. Because by that time there used to be rivalry between the Mount Kenya people and the Luo nation. It's not Moses Kuria alone. If you look even in Nyanza province, those people used to attack Uhuru Kenyatta were being elected unopposed. In fact, they were being given direct ticket in the nominations of the party. So it was just the politics of psychophancy. But now again, it has changed. The dynamics of politics has dictated that if you attack Raila, the people want to know, are you a development person? Do you understand the role of governance? We don't want this issue of Raila this, Raila that, because even Raila they have realized that Raila is not a problem. The problem is their leader. So Moses Kuria has also seen that. And I said, okay, going forward in the next politics of this country, because Raila is almost exiting the stage, you don't need to attack Raila. You need to resonate with the common Mwananchi. By resonating with the common Mwananchi, Moses Kuria has to have a different view from Deputy President Gachagua. So I think attacking Raila was just simple politics of psychophancy for him to be elected.
Okay, thank you. Miguda, what were you saying?
I was saying the
Oh,
issue
sorry.
of
Oh,
Raila.
sorry. I was. Oh, sorry. I was supposed to ask Marco
Oh,
Bura.
okay. Yes, so I was also saying, remember the Mount Kenya has been having, there've been fights of kingpinship, and among the most strongest people who are fighting for that kingpinship is Maina Njenga. So again, I think Moses Kuria meeting Maina Njenga was also assured that they are in union and there could be trying to chart their way forward. And again, if you look at the politicians who are also in the in the president's side, the likes of the deputy, together with the other CS and the members of parliament who supports the president, most of them are also trying to rebel. Remember the other day, some UDA members of parliament were saying that the government should start addressing the issue of high cost and tax, because whenever they go back to the ground, they always find a very hostile ground, and for that reason, they've started seeing the light. And among the people who have really seen the strongest light is the CS Kuria, and he's seen what really Maina Njenga is doing on the ground, and the people are really welcoming him. And if they're not very keen, Maina Njenga might be the next kingpin of Mount Kenya.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it could. Politics is politics, depending on how you play your cards and you resonate with the ground. Remember, he's been getting support from all over, whether he goes to Nyeri, whether he goes to Murang'a, in all these counties. Whenever he visits and holds a rally, he always gets massive support. And the things that he tells the people are very much, the people are welcoming his style of politics.
Okay. Let's watch the political space and see what will happen. There's also something that really happened this week, and it might not have trended, but is something that is very of to me, I count it very serious, especially the MP for Mogotio, who was accused. Um, he was charged with defilement, remember, and the state withdrew that charge. and right now he's free. And one of the I think one of the reasons was that there was lack of evidence. Yeah, it happened in 2018, and this is a leader, and he's an MP. What if this could have been somebody who is poor or like a common man? Do you think this could have gone this way, Emma?
Okay, my take on this is that we've been seeing high profile cases being dropped left, right, and center. So this only points a gloom picture of our judiciary, that it is not it is being remote controlled,
Mm-hmm.
and it shows that the law is only the law is only for the poor. For the rich, you can do anything.
For the rich, you can buy your way out. Yeah,
Yeah, you can buy your way out.
because like I was just thinking like okay, be it that there might not be kind of like enough evidence to prove that, but this thing has been in court for the last from 2018. Today is
Yeah,
2023. That's almost like around 5 years, right?
yeah,
And he's a leader, you know. Makobura, if this was maybe somebody a sugarcane cutter, or how do you want me to call it? What would have happened?
These are things we've been seeing in this government.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the people who are CS currently, some of them were accused of murder,
Mm-hmm.
some of them very high profile cases. And remember the CS. If I start giving you, for example, the CS of CS Aisha Jomo,
Yeah.
she had so many cases, and one of them was murder.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, she was elected the CS,
Mm-hmm.
and she's currently serving.
Mm-hmm.
Again, there are several MPs, including Didbas Baraza.
Mm-hmm.
It was it's clear, and it was even seen. It was on public live coverage. Whatever happened,
Mm-hmm.
his backyard,
Mm-hmm.
and he was also accused of murder. And these things were dropped. That clearly tells you that judiciary is not independent. Judiciary is being controlled by the executive, by the
Mm-hmm.
presidency side. Again, even the parliament is not really, I wouldn't say they're independent, because it is the role of the government to sometimes safeguard the rights of the people. These people who are killed by these leaders, they've not seen justice. They've not, they've not experienced justice. And so their rights, some people have gone against their rights, and there's no one there to really help them in one way or another. It is wrong for any leader in this country to go against the rights of the Kenyan citizen, and since because of they believe that the leaders they can
Mm-hmm.
go away, or they can do away with that. It is also same. You've been seeing the issue of demolition here and there, and remember, there's an hotel that was built on a government land. It's still there, and it's for the president. If you are not if he was not the president, can you imagine where if it would have worked the same? So there's selection of there's I would say there's a selection of how rules are being managed in this country.
Mm-hmm.
If you are powerful in one way or another, you might survive so many things. You might do anything recklessly, and no one will come for you.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the mistakes or the problems that we have in our country, and for that reason we need people who are abiding law abiding, people who respect other people's right, and the judiciary should also try to redeem their face by standing with the rights and the truth of whatever is happening in the country.
Okay, thank you. Miguda, we were just talking about the member of parliament from Mogotio who had a case was filed against him about defilement case, and the DPP during the week withdrew the case. They say lack of evidence. So we're just asking ourselves if this was a mwananchi wa kawaida ingekuwa aje? Unaona,
Okay,
unanisikia?
unanisikia? I'm saying the issue of the Mogotio member of parliament, the so-called Ruben, I think the decision by the court to withdraw his case based on the lack of evidence, that one should be respected because that is the competent court which has made that decision. But again, it is a criminal charge in the court of law, and now because it has been made decision by the court, so the prosecutor can only appeal. But what I wanted to comment about the issue of criminal charges against the member of those who are in Kenya Kwanza, the UDA team, is that from the time the UDA regime came to government, that is the previous elections, most of the people who are appointed in the government, or most of them who are elected, who has the previous charges against the most of criminal cases, all of them has been withdrawn. So this one was not news, and we expected it to happen. That is according to that is now that's what we call there's no good governance in this UDA regime. We lack what we call good governance because each and every person is equal before the law, and the law should be applied equally to every people, not selectively. That's where we got it wrong. And again, I don't want to comment about the decision of the court or the decision of the judge, but just to put it in short, that the judge might have been compromised. There's that probability that he was compromised. And as a country which adheres to the rule of law, we need to have judges who are not compromised. We need to have courts which are not compromised. We need to have competent court, the courts which are equal before, and each and every person in this country has equal right to be treated equally before any court of law. If they withdraw the charges against the member of parliament, they ought to have withdrawn all the charges against each and every person. In fact, the convicts who are in the right now in the prison should be released with the power of mercy, because if they can apply it selectively, I don't think the law should be applied selectively. The law should be applied equally, irrespective of your status, irrespective of your position, irrespective of the side where you're coming from. So I just like to say that the decision by the court, I can just see it as the judge might have been compromised, or the court was compromised by the current regime, and also the influence of the government. Because we saw the previous time when the judges made decision, the previous time in the Milimani Law Court, all those judges were transferred. So that is there's what we call they are just trying to reduce the independence of the judiciary. They want to interfere. So the executive is interfering in the judiciary, and we will not sit back and watch that one. We must lead our people to understand the importance of the independency of the institutions. The judiciary ought to be independent, because if the judiciary is not independent, it's compromised by the state, then as a common mwananchi who would not have the cash bail, who cannot have the bond, how will this man or pass or woman got justice? So my point is very clear that the judge ought to have been compromised, or the court was compromised. Simple, because we have seen previously, for instance, Aisha Jumwa, a minister in Ruto's cabinet, the charges against her was all withdrawn. Mithika Linturi was all withdrawn. Rigathi Gachagua, who's accused of getting away with a lot of money in this country, charges against him were withdrawn. It's very simple. If you are allied to William Ruto or the UDA government, high chances of you surviving in this country is very good. But for us, not for many people who are us, as we are the many people who do not agree with the provisions of this government, we are likely not to survive in this country. But we are appealing to the government that if you are a government of the people, once elected, and you sworn in, and you are confirmed by the Supreme Court that you are elected, you ought to provide service to each and every person equally, without discrimination, or without looking at who supported you, or is anti-government, or is not anti-government. So we are appealing to the government that, and to relieve judiciary alone, and judiciary should work independently without being interfered by the current executive.
We can't hear you.
Let me ask you. Sorry, I was muted. Let me ask you. There are some cases whereby we call it mwananchi wa kawaida have been involved in such like accusations, yeah, of defilement, yeah, and they are in the prisons. Some are in the prisons, yeah, and none of their cases have been withdrawn because of lack of evidence. Does it mean that those who have and the have-nots, the haves can buy out their way, the have-nots will pay the consequences? Because that's what I'm seeing. Even if the evidence is not there, but I think it could have gone to full trial so that we know. But like we all just came to know the case is withdrawn. It did not go to full trial, right? If it could have gone to full trial, we could have been told, okay, he won the case. But this one, it is withdrawn. What do you say?
Okay. What I can say, the cases depends. For example, the case was withdrawn due to the lack of evidence. It means that it was never, the suspect was never tried, though he was charged, but he was never tried. So there was not that due process of the law. That is very correct. They ought to be the due process of the law. That's why I've said the judge might have been compromised. And again, the people who do not have the have not, who are in maybe prisons or who have been convicted or who are in the cells or who are in the police custody. Again, there are these days criminal charges, and criminal charges, there's that a principle of criminal laws that is being applicable in the Commonwealth country. There's that issue of presumption of innocent until proven guilty. There's that burden of proof, which is based on the prosecutor, and the standard of proof should be beyond reasonable doubt. So again, the case ought to have gone to the full trial for us to know that is it beyond reasonable doubt. But now it was just withdrawn with lack of evidence. It seems that something which is not in accordance with the law happened to that ruling. Because if it's a matter of due process of the law, we need to understand that was there standard of proof? Was it beyond reasonable doubt? How do you know that it was the suspect was innocent? What were the trial? What were the submissions of the advocate? Are there grounds for appeal? Are there grounds for evidences? So those ones were not shown in that case. That's why I've said that in Kenya, the people who do not, I think the people who do not have some maybe cash or the people who are not influential in the society are likely to have a long tough ahead with this regime. But the people who are aligned to them and the people who are in the regime are likely to have a soft life. I don't support the withdrawal of cases due to lack of evidence. I ought to have understand the due process of the law. How has the trial taken place? On which ground? Where the evidence? Were there not watertight evidence, or were there not overwhelming evidence to prosecute the accuser? But again, the accuser has also been found talking that the cases will be withdrawn. So they are very certain, they are very sure that once you are with the government, the executive, that's the president, if you go to institution like parliament, or if you go to institution like judiciary, and you have any of your, maybe you are against the rule of law, the chances of surviving are high, unlike someone who is not in the government. But that is unfair. The government of the people should be fair and should treat people equally, irrespective of the region you come from, irrespective of whether you vote for them or not voting for them. So I think the due process of the law was not followed. And as a country like Kenya, we are a constitutional democracy country, and we are a developing country, transformative country. We ought to have followed the due process of the law. How do we develop our laws if we are still going back to the dark days whereby the executive could control everything? The regime of Moi. Moi was the judiciary, he was the executive, he was the legislature. But now we have a very comprehensive constitution. We need to follow it very clearly, and we need to understand these institutions are very independent and they don't need to be compromised by each and every. And there's also that separation of powers and checks and balances. So I think by the decision of the court making to withdraw the charges due to lack of evidence. It's just trying to get us back to the dark days. And we are beyond that dark days. We need to transform the country. We need to move forward. And we need to make sure that we understand the separation of powers, checks, balances, and also the independence of the institutions must be respected. So if we do that one, they have not will have to access to justice. They will not have to access to injustice. And justice should prevail to each and everyone, irrespective, provided that you are a Kenyan citizen and you belong to this country. Justice should prevail no matter where you are, no matter where you come from.
Okay, thank you. Makobura?
I think this really tells us how dictatorship the UDA government are trying to run their government, because the constitution is very clear. There should be independence. The executive should be independent, the parliament and the judiciary. If the executive is trying uh, to remote control the parliament and together with the judiciary,
Mhm,
that tells us how dictatorship, how they're dictating things, how they're dictating for us and for the people of Kenya, uh, when it comes to
mhm, mhm.
governance.
Okay.
It is so wrong, especially in this era, and we having a very strong, one of the best constitution in the world,
Mhm,
for a president or the executive to try to control the judiciary, to control the parliament. Actually, since this government took over,
mhm,
if we try to look at the judiciary, first they remember when they are doing the appointments, they never really looked at the chapter 6, the
mhm,
integrity.
mhm,
Most of people were elected, most of people were selected as the cabinet secretaries. The level of integrity in them was very questionable. They
mhm,
had so many issues that if we were keenly looking and following the constitution of Kenya, they couldn't been they would not be the CS or cabinet secretaries. Most of them had murder cases, several cases. Most of them were corrupt. Some of them even had defilement cases.
mhm,
Today, they're the cabinet secretaries. If you look again at at the parliament, truth be told, the Azimio side had the majority. If we were really following the constitution of the Republic of Kenya,
mhm,
the majority leader would have come from the Azimio, and Azimio would have gotten the many seats in the parliament.
mhm,
And that never really happened. So corruption started immediately this government got into power, and they were trying to not even follow and even respect the constitution. Remember when the president was being sworn in, he attested that he would follow and respect and do as per the constitution of
So
the
it's just
Republic of
a
Kenya.
big campaign. Mhm,
It is unfortunate because immediately got into office, he bought so many members of parliament who are not even from his side, and he
mhm,
won the majority.
mhm,
Currently, if the constitution is to be followed, even the speaker of the National Assembly is not legitimate. He was not legitimately as and even constitutionally elected as the speaker, because they never. The constitution is clear that the speaker should come from the majority side, which the Kenya Kwanza never got. They got it only after trying to do some shoddy things. In short, the government of Kenya Kwanza, they are not following the constitution of the Republic of Kenya.
mhm,
They are running the country based on their thinking and things which they think is right is right for them. And that is they're running a country in a kangaroo manner. That should
mhm,
not be accepted. The people of Kenya and the activists of the Republic of Kenya, they should stand up and try to even rally and say no to any person or any leader who is trying to run a country like in a kangaroo manner, because there are laws, there are rules, the constitution is there, and that is what should really be used when it comes to governance in the Republic of Kenya.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, there's something that I want us to discuss here is about leadership, and this is to question the leadership of the country. And this one brings us to the Meru governor, Kawira Mwangaza, who survived the second impeachment uh, case in the Senate. If you look at the way impeachment started in the county assembly, it was not genuine impeachment. It was a political. Then when it came to Senate, when you read the Daily Nation, I think it was the one on, was it on Friday or Saturday?
Page 9, I think.
Yeah, it was from page 8 and 9. It talks about how money exchanged hands, especially there are two CSs that were offered up to around 2 million Kenya shillings for the Senate members. First of all, it was a call from above. I don't know where that call came from. I don't know whether it came from heaven or where it from above. That's how the Daily was writing it. Then two CS were offering up to 2M for member of the Senate, depending on the ranking, how many years you've been there, what rank are you in the Senate. Then the governors too had of the wind when they were in this meeting in Narok, and they were offering between 2.5 to 3M. So this is now the leadership that we have. And when the Senate did not impeach her, it was a celebration for the whole country. People were celebrating because people believed that the Senate did a good job. But later we came to realize the money exchanged hands. So what kind of leadership do we have? If it is true that what was written on the Daily, it's true, what kind of leadership do we have? Maybe who to go first, Makobura or Miguda? Hello?
Okay, I would say this is not the first time you're having impeachment in the, especially governor impeachment or the deputy governor impeachment. And the issue of bribery, this is not the first time we are hearing about that. Remember, the most immediate impeachment that was brought to the floor of the Senate was the one for the deputy governor of CIA. And remember that as well, there were several accusations of bribery here and there. And bribery, when it comes to impeachment, it's we always see it, and it's wrong because you shouldn't be bribed for you to make a stand or to say this is wrong or right. When we start talking about the governor of Meru, my thoughts, Kawira Mungaza is one of the best governors in the Republic of Kenya, and that was even confirmed by the info tracks. Uh, she's one of the best performing governors. I think the problem that this governor is experiencing is she's coming from a county where men has been dominating in politics, and again, those men they've been CS, they've been the most powerful people in the government. And again, these men they don't really want to accept the fact that this woman came with an independent. Them these men getting support from the most powerful politicians, they never uh, they never captured the seat of governorship.
Mhm.
And again, they've seen the trend of the political tactics that Kawira Mwangaza is trying to showcase, and I've seen that this woman is really going far. She's resonating with the people, she's becoming more and more strong politically, and for that reason, they're trying to find a way of destabilizing her so that they can find it easy come next general election so that they might get this seat. And remember, Kawira Mwangaza came on an independent ticket. So majority of the MCAs were elected on a political ticket, where these two giant